All right, today we're going to talk about equations versus expressions notes. Okay, so hopefully if you've been paying attention to your warm-ups, you know that equations are different from expressions because one has an equal sign and one does not, okay? So equations have an equal sign and they almost say equal right in the beginning. Okay, so equations are going to have an equal sign. So this first blank is equation. Looks like my pen's running out. Let me change that up. Okay, equation. So the definition of an equation is a mathematical sentence that uses an equal sign. Okay, so if you see an equal sign, it's going to be an equation. And the word equivalent of an equal sign is the word is. So if you see the word is followed by a number, then that's the same as like an equal sign. Okay? All right, so those are equations. So let's talk about some examples of equations. So 2 times d is, and then we follow it with a number, 72. So this is an equation because it uses the word is that's followed by a number. So if we were to write it algebraically, 2 times d would be 2d, and then is, remember we said is equals, and then 72. So that's how it would look algebraically. So these two are the same. 2 times d is 72, and those are equations because they have an equal sign, or the word is. Okay? All right, the next one, 7 plus r equals 11. So if we write it in words, 7 plus r is 11. And again, is followed by a number is the same as an equal sign. Okay? All right, our next example says 4 minus n is, there's our is followed by a number, 24. So we have 4 minus n is or equals 24. And then our last example says 12, and then remember we learned that a slash or a fraction bar is the same as dividing. So that's 12 divided by w equals 4. So we have 12 divided by w is 4. Okay, so these are all examples of equations. Remember, an equation has an equal sign. So 2 sides with an equal sign. All right. All right, and then our next section is going to be over equations. Okay, so, expressions. So let's talk about the definition of an expression. An expression is still a mathematical sentence, so those are the same, but now it is without an equal sign. So no equal sign in an expression. Okay? So these are examples of our expressions. So we have 4 times 0.85 minus p. Okay, so you can see we don't have that keyword is, and so let's write it out algebraically. So 4 times, so I'm gonna put 4, and then my dot for multiplication, 0.85, and then minus the letter p. So you can see that we have multiplying and we have subtracting, but we do not have an equal sign. So this is just an expression. Okay. All right, so our next one is 2 and then parentheses 7k, close parentheses. So when you have a situation like this, where you have a number and it's immediately followed by parentheses, we have learned that that is multiplication. So this will be 2 times 7K. 2 times 7K. So again, we don't have that keyword is to tell us that it's going to be equal, is and then a number. So this is still just an expression because there is no equal sign. Okay? Our next one says 5 is less than twice m. 5 is less than twice m. So this time we have the is, but it's not followed by that number. So it should be is and then a number, is and then a number. So when that happens, this is less than. So we learned in elementary school that less than is a symbol that looks kind of like a Pac-Man mouth or an alligator mouth, right? So we have 5 is less than, so even though it says is, that's actually part of our less than symbol. And then twice m, so twice is 2 times m. So again, there is no equal sign, and because there's no equal sign, it is not an equation. All right, see our next one says parentheses 5 plus d, close parentheses, divided by 2. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our parentheses, so we're gonna call it the sum of 5 and d, and then divided by 2. So that one's a long one. The sum of 5 and d, so that's our addition here, divided by 2. Again, no equal sign, therefore it is just an expression. It is not an equation. And then the last one says double the product of 7 and k. So that's actually the same as this one up here. It's just written in different word form. So product, remember product means to multiply. So double means times 2. So that's going to be 2 times 7k. 2 times 7k. So essentially the same exact problem. In this one I used a multiplication sign, in this one they use parentheses. Okay? All right, so here's how we might see it on STAR. It says, which of these can be written as an equation? And we know that equations have equal signs. So, or the word is followed by a number. So it says 3 times 0.35 plus r. So 3 times 0.35 plus r. So we didn't have an equal sign, we didn't have our keyword is, so that is an expression. So let's try letter B. Letter B says 4 is less than. So we do have that is, but it's followed by the words less than, which is not our number we want. So 4 is less than twice Q. Okay? So again, not an equation because it doesn't have an equal sign. It has a less than sign. So our next one says half. Half is like dividing by 2. The product is multiplication of 6 and t. So we did 6t, and then half would be dividing by 2. Again, we don't have an is, we didn't have an equal sign, so it can't be C. And then our last answer, 7 times W is followed by that 21. So 7 times W is 21. So this is the only one that makes sense as an equation. I skipped this line up here, so let's go back and fill it in. So it says blank at the end of a sentence means this. So normally a number at the end of a sentence means it's an equation, usually. Okay? Equals, when it says is a number, right? Is and then a number. At the end of a sentence means it's an equation. Okay, so that's a good trick. If you look at the end, it says is 72, is 11, is 24, is 4. So anytime you see the word is followed by a number at the end of a sentence, it means it's an equation. All right, and that's equations versus expressions.